never happened. As was discussed earlier, Leon's trip here was to take a practice interview. It was a job he didn't want, radar analyst for weather modification project, a place he didn't want to live. And nothing in the first day and a half of his experience here led him to think those instincts were misplaced. But on the way out, back to the airport, there's a little schedule to stop to see John Odegaard. Well, that was magic, as it was when so many of us had the chance to meet and visit with John Odegaard. And the takeaway Leon had, he can quote to this day what John said: "If you come up, I'll let you do whatever you want as long as you're successful." By the time he got to the airport, he called Kathy, says, "We're going to Grand Forks." Now, this is a couple from White Deer, Texas, located on the most godforsaken, windswept southern prairie of the Panhandle. They came here and were thrilled with the trees. Leon told me that. You know, those early years, I just loved what Sarah's word, magical, because what happened here was magical. This was the most entrepreneurial time in the history of higher education, where you have a flying club with two very small, very humble airplanes turned into what has now become the Odegaard School. Driving it was a genius whose name the school honors, John Odegaard, supported by an incredibly skillful president, Tom Clifford, because they were running as fast as they could, and many of us were involved in little backfill to make sure, kind of keep the airplane gas while you're up at 30,000 feet. It was tricky, but the key to it, not just the vision at the top, those who could unite vision and implementation. And Leon and very, very talented others certainly came to demonstrate that. Leon, in a meteorological component of the program, absolutely as well as anybody. If there was opportunity and a chance of funding, they were off to the races. And it was very, very thrilling. I say to those of you still involved in the school, it's not the name John Odegaard School that honors John Odegaard. It's preserving this fabulous spirit of creativity and entrepreneurial spirit and making it live every day here. That's the tribute to John Odegaard, the tremendous challenge on those of you carrying on this fabulous charge. And Leon has done that every day here with just remarkable ability. Tenure marked by so many dimensions. He is a top-notch researcher, one of these pointy-head crowd that just loves that stuff. But he developed a knack so unique and really, really good at it. He makes it matter. He makes it matter in a relevant and important context to the lives and the purposes of the end user. And man, that is really the golden trick of research, I think. Does it matter? Do those to whom it matters understand that it matters? Leon connected all the dots. He says he got that skill, taking research and making it relevant, from working with the farmers, as was expressed through the 80s, developing those programs. Kathy has a different idea. She says, being from White Deer, Texas, she was the one that drove it into his head every single day. I'm inclined to side with Kathy on that one, but you be the judge. It was this ability to take research and make it matter that got him his most important assignment, perhaps. That would be the creation meridian. Leon recalls stepping out in Clifford Hall. They're down below a couple of stairwells, or a couple of stories. You can see them in the atrium area. Tom Clifford and John Odegaard. And before he could scurry back to his office, they saw him. He says, "Hey, hang up just a minute." And up they come and talk to him about this great idea to commercialize a Department of Transportation grant that had been implemented in terms of end-user, road-specific, site-specific weather forecasting and delivering that message. They said two things in the course of kind of, again, this skeletal outline about the fabulous commercialized opportunity for Leon to take this and run with it. One, you're going to make a lot of money. Two, it's easy. Leon spent the next several years thinking those were the two biggest whoppers he ever heard in his life. The venture started with 4 partners, 3 academics and Kathy. They brought in Kathy up from the Community National Bank for 2 reasons. One, 3 academics need an operations person that can make the demanding trains run on time, and no one can do that like Kathy. 2, they emptied her retirement account, took the $80,000 and put it into the business. She was a real stakeholder in every sense of the word. It's interesting to note that she's still making the trains run on time, even in her successive ownership. The idea of Meridian, think about it. 100 scientists going to work today in Grand Forks, all these years after, with an enduring idea. It's precisely the kind of economic spinoff my friend and former colleague, President Kennedy, dreams of for this institution. Spinning off opportunity for the graduates of this place and for other exciting professionals coming to our community, creating new services, impacting our economy. It's exactly the kind of thing we hope can be spun off of the achievement at our universities. I'll talk about another kind of excitement, the winter of 1997. This was when the congressional delegation paid particular attention to what Leon was achieving. The weather forecasting coming out was basically Weather Service. This is all going to be within the dimensions of what we know and what we can handle. And that story really didn't change as the elevation, we remember those snowdrifts those years, kept getting higher and higher and higher. Come February, Leon put a flood forecast out on his own modeling that had it hitting 52 feet, ultimately hit 54. By the way, flood protection stopped at 47. We'd have done well to listen to Leon, not the National Weather Service. And I know the source of that quote that Diane Odegaard said earlier. It was Senator Conrad, but we all felt it. By the end of the day, we knew whose numbers were good and whose weren't. Well, of all the things, Leon's house, like everybody else, flooded. And there was this fabulous, not fabulous, this unbelievable, bizarre day of evacuation in the city of Grand Forks, where you would report to Red River High School. It was like, to me, a disaster, watching a disaster movie unfold, right on these familiar territories. Leon and family, 3 kids in the back, Kathy, drive up there to register. John and Leon walk in. He says, "I can't do it." Back they go to the car and head out to campus. They were not going to let the weather warning system go down. Not one day, even as the town is evacuated. And they come back to the building. Well, some of the equipment had been removed for safekeeping. Took a call to Senator Conrad to get that equipment brought back, and Leon was there. And what I think is kind of a metaphor for the kind of support these 2 gentlemen provided Leon throughout his career. Tom Clifford, now former president, brought by some water and some provisions. Helped the family, because it was Leon, Kathy, the 3 kids up there, holding out. And John, even as he headed out to Houston for another really tough round of cancer treatment, swung by Home of Economy and cleaned them out of sleeping bags, so they all had a place to bed down. And that is just so like Clifford, Odegaard, and Osborne. Lots of support. But in the end, it was Leon on the round-the-clock shifts to make sure this component of the operation got executed. And it was executed well, under difficult circumstances. A lot of professional tension with the Weather Service, of course, He was some professional tension within the university because some people didn't think anyone ought to be in these buildings. But Leon persevered, and the infant 5'11" didn't go down, even in the darkest days of Grand Forks. Well, I asked Senator Conrad and Senator Dorgan if they had any words they'd like me to contribute. Of course, they sent some, so now I got to read them. Here's Conrad. What I remember most about working with Leon is his smile, infectious laugh, enthusiasm that captivated everyone involved in the effort. I also distinctly remember his invaluable advice during and after the disastrous events of the Great Flood. We checked in repeatedly with Leon, consistently found his forecasts the most accurate and useful. But it's not just one disaster that Leon helped us respond to. Whether it was flood, drought, severe winter storms, Leon was always on target and eager to help. Leon, I miss working with you. I knew and know our state, region, and country are better for your spirit of helping lift us to higher ground. Here's Dorgan. The important measure of our lives and our work is based on what we have done to help others. And Leon Osborne's life has always been a continuing testament to helping others, as we've heard throughout the program tonight. Leon's dedication to his students in the classroom over these many years has made large deposits in the ledger of good works. Teaching is the Lord's work, and Leon has done a lifetime of that good work, leaving its mark on students that will live on forever. But just as important, Leon's work to create an innovative, world-class company providing weather information and solutions to people and companies is breathtaking. His work, I know, was innovative, creative, and groundbreaking. But the success of his work is demonstrated by the help and assistance it has offered to so many people. He may not know their names. Those he helped may not know his. But those of us from northern Great Plains know that the work he has done to provide unique and critical weather information during those threatening weather events has saved lives. And his work extends far beyond our boundaries. Thank you for a lifetime and legacy of wonderful work, Leon. In my own close, I would just say the title of this symposium, I think, sums it up so well, A Life of Impact. I've heard about the impact to students, to program development, to the Odegaard School, to our community. Leon, I think I'd probably sum it up for everybody here to thank you maybe most personally for the impact you have had in our lives. Thank you, dear friend.